Joining me now is Gap Incorporated CEO Richard Dickson. We heard you in the boardroom. We saw you on the Bell podium. Now, this is arguably the most watched news event in the world, opening up the U.S. equity markets, and you've done it for the first time. How are you feeling?
Oh my God, I feel like I've just won the prize. This is like incredible moment. It's one that you grow up watching and imagining, and it's even better than I could have ever imagined it.
And you know, we heard you a little bit in the boardroom talking about the significance of today, but tell me about why it was so important for you and your team to be here to ring the opening bell.
Listen, Gap is an iconic American brand, and we're celebrating 55 years of legacy. It's an extraordinary milestone moment. In many cases, we feel like this is actually the beginning of a new beginning. We've dressed, and defined American style for 55 years, and we really feel like we're just getting started.
And from what I understand, you have some very special guests with you here today. Talk to me about that.
We do. We have so many members of our team. We have family founding members with us as well. We've got employees from around the world. We've got the collaborators that we work with, partners, philanthropic partners, agency partners, all celebrating with us our extraordinary history. But even more important, the energy that we have for the future.
And tell us a little bit more about everyone who joined you on that Bell podium.
Well, they were very select people. I mean, we had a lot of people who wanted to be on that podium. Probably most iconic is Bob Fisher, who's part of the founding family. We had Zach Posen, our Chief Creative Officer for Old Navy and a creative director at Gap. Mark, the president and CEO of Gap, and all of our partners that mean so much, including, of course, really key members of the Gap team and Gap Inc. So it was really a moment of pride and celebration for everything that we represent, but again, all the energy for our future.
Absolutely, and today is the first day that Gap has officially a new ticker symbol, Gap. Talk to me about the change.
Well, first of all, come on, it's like the best branding.
I know you're literally walking around with your ticker symbol.
Of course, it was the most obvious ticker change and the symbol of our company. I mean, it's the heritage name of the company. It's now a portfolio of iconic American brands that's shaping culture. And the ticker is symbolic. It's symbolic of our pride, and it's symbolic around our energy for Gap as a brand and Gap as a portfolio of iconic American brands. So it's an exciting moment.
And I absolutely loved what you were saying in the boardroom, how Gap is really bridging the gaps that we see in society today. Everything from culture, diversity, inclusion, even climate change.
Yeah.
It really stands to the ethos of what your company's mission is.
Absolutely. And we pride ourselves on Doris Fisher, our founding mom, who essentially branded us by acknowledging that we do more than sell clothes. That was the origin story. The origin story of Gap was about bridging the generation gap through denim, which of course was the fabric of our founders. But it's evolved really to bridge gaps to create a better world. Climate, inclusion, opportunity, all the various differences between us really represents the purpose of our company, which is essentially to bridge gaps between us to create a better world. And we couldn't be more excited about the impact that we've had, and that we're going to have as we endeavor our purposeful-minded future.
Absolutely, and that really is in line with what we stand for here at the New York Stock Exchange as well, making a difference in the world, sometimes through IPOs every single day. But, I want to talk more about your company and your brand. We have Old Navy here also, ringing the closing bell, celebrating 30 years. Talk to me about the significance in that milestone.
Listen, Old Navy celebrating 30 years is another really exciting, magical moment that we're going to have as we close the bell. Old Navy is the largest brand in the Gap Inc. portfolio. It's also a brand that represents family, fun, and value. It is the style authority in American style at value. We couldn't be more excited about the future of Old Navy. Zach adding new creative energy into the Old Navy narration and product. Old Navy is obviously 30 years young, but we've got a lot in the future that's going to happen with Old Navy. Just watch the space.
And speaking of the future, let's talk about Gap Inc.'s future. What's next?
Listen, we have defined ourselves truly to become a high-performing house of iconic American brands that shape culture. We're driving our future by fixing a lot of foundational work, strategic priorities that we're relentlessly repeating, financial and operational rigor, which is showing up in the metrics that matter, expanded gross margin, leaner inventories, controlling expenses, and increasing that bottom line, while we're stabilizing the top line and using our playbook to reinvigorate these iconic American brands. The future is a very exciting place for us to aspire to. We've got a lot of work in the here and now, but we are delivering what we say we're going to deliver, and the future is going to be quite bright.
The future is going to be bright. Well, full speed ahead.
Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure having you. I'll let you continue the celebration.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Take care.